Hello and welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the Thames Valley. A pre-inquest hearing into the death of Reading head teacher Ruth Perry, who took her own life after her school was downgraded by Ofsted.
A final chance to view a piece of history, the rides and vintage vehicles from a Berkshire fun fair. Carter's Steam Fair ran for 45 years.
Also this Friday evening, we're at the Pride of Reading Awards, the event which celebrates the town's people and community spirit with the help of some famous faces.
And not quite the zebra crossing you'd imagine, the Swans and their cygnets who are getting a helping hand from the people of Hampshire. Good evening. Reading head teacher Ruth Perry was in contact with a mental health crisis team just days after an Ofsted inspection at her school.
The 53-year-old took her own life in January after being told Caversham Primary was being downgraded from outstanding to inadequate. Juliet Fletcher was at Reading Coroner's Court.
Today was the second pre-inquest review into the death of Ruth Perry. And the coroner here in Reading decided on some of the witnesses who would be called to give evidence and the scope of her inquiry. Now, Mrs. Perry had been the head teacher at Caversham Primary School for 13 years when Ofsted came to inspect the school. That was in November last year. Afterwards, she received the news that the school was to be downgraded from its top rating to its lowest, one of inadequate, due to safeguarding concerns. Now, a few weeks later, while she was waiting for that report to be published, Mrs. Perry took her own life. Now, the coroner today said the inquest should hear from Mrs. Perry's GP and a member of the mental health crisis team who she'd been in touch with. They'll also hear from witnesses from the school, Reading Borough Council and Ofsted. The coroner said she wanted to hear how Ofsted's processes worked and from the inspectors who visited Caversham Primary School. She'll consider how the inspection was conducted, but she won't look at the issue of grading the school. At the moment, the inquest is scheduled to be a traditional inquest hearing, but the coroner said today that she's leaving the door ajar in case that needs to be changed to an Article 2 inquest hearing further down the line, and that would mean a more in-depth investigation. It's due to take place at the end of November, running into the beginning of December. Juliet Fletcher, ITV News, Reading.
6 children are in hospital, 4 with serious injuries after the vehicle they were travelling in was hit by a speeding BMW being chased by police in Oxford. Thames Valley police officers attempted to stop the BMW, which was driving erratically on Tuesday night on the Eastern Bypass. The car failed to stop and then collided with a black VW Touran travelling along the Slade. 5 arrests have now been made.
Thames Valley Police are reappealing for information after a woman was raped in her tent at Reading Festival. The force is asking this man, who may have vital information, or anyone who knows him, to contact police. The victim was attacked sometime between midnight and 2:45 a.m. on Sunday the 27th of August.
The Online Safety Act to protect children from online harm has been made law. It follows a campaign by the father of Ollie Stevens, who was stabbed to death in Reading, aged just 13 years old. His killing was planned on social media, and his father has been calling for tougher online safety measures ever since. The Act places legal responsibility on tech companies to prevent and remove illegal content. They will also have to stop children seeing harmful material, such as bullying and content promoting self-harm.
Funfair enthusiasts are being given a final opportunity to see a rare collection of vintage rides before they're split up.
Carter's Steam Fair in Berkshire has travelled all over the Thames Valley for more than 40 years, and its rides have featured in films including Rocket Man and Paddington 2.
But now its owners have sold most of the rides and will this weekend sell smaller items. Here's Mike Pearce.
It is by any standard a unique collection of rides dating back to 1895. Carter's Steam Fair, based near Maidenhead, started in 1977 and has stayed in the same family. They restored old fairground rides that were due to be scrapped, and it became the world's largest travelling vintage fun fair. In recent years it's been run by Joby Carter, who says it's now time to sell.
I'm excited to say I've found great homes for it. People that are excited and keen and want to use them so the public can ride them again. It's just my time to step back and do other things.
Why is that?
The pandemic was an incredible time, a time when I spent with my family, I had weekends off, and I'm guilty to say that I enjoyed it.
Most of the rides have now been sold, but there's one last chance to see them and buy things like old posters and other artefacts this weekend. Joby is now turning his time to fairground art and has written 2 books on the subject.
The fair's never been a job, it's been a lifestyle, and I've had a wonderfully colourful life, but it's also been incredibly hard work. And you don't really own anything. You're just a custodian of it. You're looking after it, and you're getting it on to pass to someone else, be it to your family or sell it out and they do something else. I'm just proud that everything we've got is better than when we got it. And we're passing it on to someone new who can enjoy it and take it on. And yeah, I am excited about having weekends off and having lots more holidays, because I didn't own the fair owned me.
But the good news is the vintage rides have been found new homes and will continue to entertain. Mike Pearce, ITV News, White Waltham.
Oh, so sad to see it come to an end, isn't it? But on a more positive note, it's always lovely to celebrate the positive things that are happening around us. And that's exactly what they're doing as we speak right now at the Pride of Reading Awards.
Well, the awards are now in their 19th year and are all about recognising the people that make the town proud. There was only one person we could send to Reading to cover it for us, Sangeeta.
And I'm really happy to be here. The Pride of Reading Awards is such a heartwarming event. You get to hear about the amazing things people have done and the amazing things that people have overcome. And not just that, people from right across Berkshire, well-known names, are here to show their support.
Reading's been incredibly good to me growing up, and throughout my life it's a place I can come back to, and it feels like home. It is home, but this is where my friends are, and this is where all the good stuff happened to me in my life.
I've never found an event so intensely moving, and the stories of personal sacrifice and of the hours spent volunteering, it's deeply humbling.
I come away thinking, there's a lot of people still do very nice things, and that's good.
I mean, look behind, there's so many people that are here to see this amazing event that is on every single year. We've got this wonderful person next to me that just lifts the room and tells some lovely stories, and you really do care about Reading, and that's what shines through.
There have been some great nominations for Community Champion of the Year, for volunteers, for local schools, and my personal favourite was a nomination for the Elizabeth line for putting Reading on the map, or should that be, on the tube map. But of course it's all about the amazing winners. That's what we're really celebrating here today.
Emily's been painting since lockdown, and her cards were actually printed and selling in shops. And she donates half of the money to charities, Camp Mohawk and Music Club, who support her older disabled brother.
Congratulations, you're the Johnson family and you've been named Family of the Year at the Pride of Reading Awards. Jared, we heard a bit about your story yesterday on the programme. You sadly lost your wife, Shona, to stomach cancer. What was it like getting that award in her memory today?
Mixed emotions, happy and sad, and sort of sad because it all gets sprung up again, but happy because this is what she wanted. She wanted awareness to be sprung, and this is what this is doing.
And she certainly has done that. And Kelsey, was that a special moment for you today, getting that award?
Yeah, it was, because it's what she wanted, and it spread awareness to loads of people, and that's what she wanted.
And congratulations to all the winners. As you can see, the party is very much still going on here. A little bit of feel good to start the weekend. Back to you, Matt and Stacey.
Such a great event, isn't it?
And so many wonderful people actually being recognised, including the lady there that we talked about last night. Brilliant. Now you're watching ITV News in the Thames Valley. Coming up, all of the stories that we've been talking about, plus so much more, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. All the sport coming up very shortly as well. And of course, you can, as always, keep up to date on our website, itv.com/Meridian. The number, as ever, on the screen. You should know it by now. And of course, you can find us and follow us on social media. And
Employment Tribunal has ruled in favour of Hampshire's hospitals in a case brought by a consultant who says he was victimised for whistleblowing. Martin Pitman had worked in Winchester and surrounding towns for more than 20 years. He claimed he suffered for speaking out over safety concerns on maternity units. He was sacked. In reaction to the ruling announced in the last hour, the Hampshire Hospitals NHS Foundation Trust said it could say with confidence that staff are encouraged to speak up. It said Mr. Pitman raised valid concerns over staffing and it listened and took action. It's not clear if Mr. Pitman will go ahead with a further hearing over claims of unfair dismissal.
People are being encouraged to consider becoming foster carers during Black History Month. Figures show 2/3 of councils have a shortage of carers who are from diverse backgrounds.
Well, we are joined now by Eileen Momanyi, who's from Banbury in Oxfordshire, who became a foster carer back in 2019. Eileen, thank you so much for coming in. Why did you decide to become a foster carer?
I just wanted to give something back to the community, and I felt I've got a passion for caring for kids, and this was a good way for me to do it.
It's not an easy job though, is it? Because they leave you. You must find it very difficult because you form an attachment, you care for them, you nurture them, and then they go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not easy. It can be challenging when you form a bond with a child and then they have to leave. But ultimately, the decisions are made for the best interest of the child. So if they move on, then, you know, it's for their own best interest. And again, for their approval, you know, you're taking them on not for long term.
Why do you think it's important that there is the option for children to be with a foster carer of the same ethnic background?
I think it's really important to see somebody they can identify with. Say, for example, you know, somebody that looks like their mom or dad. That can help them to feel safe, I guess.
So I guess with that in mind, you would encourage more people to consider it. Why should they? What do you get out of it?
Fostering is so rewarding. It's just doing the little things for the children to make their childhood, you know, happy. Little things to make them safe.
Why do you think there is this shortage of foster carers from diverse backgrounds? What do you think it is that's holding people back?
I think maybe people are not very informed of how, you know, of what it involves. They're probably, you know, think that they can't do it. I would say, you know, anybody who has a passion for caring for children, and, you know, they should try it. They should get in touch. The professional of Oxfordshire County Council, they're really friendly and they can talk you through, you know. There's always somebody to talk you through. People are probably worried, you know, of the challenges.
And we should, of course, say, I mean, if people are considering it, they can contact their council wherever they are and get that relevant information. You touched on it there, but just quickly, just to sort of, I mean, there are challenges. What other traits do you think people need? Patience, presumably?
Yes, you definitely need patience. You definitely need a passion for caring for children. It's challenging, but you're given lots of training. There's lots of support. There's people that you can talk to, you know, if you're going through the challenges. There's lots of people that you can talk to.
Well, Eileen, I hope people are inspired by you and what you're doing and get in touch. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, in a few minutes, there'll be a grand unveiling of a statue built by the community for the community in Lymington.
Well, it's taking place in St Thomas Street in a garden of more than 1,000 handmade poppies. Let's cross live to Richard Slee. Richard, are we in time to see it? What's happening?
Well, you join us just in time for the unveiling of this very special area, which is dedicated to this year's remembrance. This is a statue of the Lymington soldier, surrounded by 1,300 poppies created by local people. Well, Robert Barras from the Royal British Legion is with me now. Robert, a bit more than you normally do every year.
It's been fantastic, yeah. It's a special year this year. We're celebrating 100 years of the Lymington Royal British Legion, but this has been incredible. We asked the local community, the members, the staff to make these poppies out of crochet. It's taken a year to plan, a year to get together, and the local nursing homes have done incredible for us. And doesn't it look incredible?
And you've really got the community behind you.
Oh, the community's been fantastic. Lymington, that's what Lymington's all about. The community that's helped and volunteered to make all these and donate them to the Royal British Legion as well.
Thank you for talking to us, Robert. Well, also with us is the man who built this, the artist, Steve Davis. Steve,
hi.
What was your inspiration for this model?
My inspiration was the people that have served and are still serving at the moment now.
And was it a challenging project for you?
It was quite challenging because the scale of the thing, first of all, and trying to keep it nondescript so it was sort of representative of the unknown soldier.
And behind all those poppies, it's chicken wire, is it?
That's it, that's all it is, yeah.
And you normally do jobs a little bit smaller than this, is that
I
right?
do, yeah. It's probably the biggest project I've undertaken so far, yeah.
Okay, thank you for talking to us, Steve. Well, very shortly, these gentlemen and ladies will be lowering their standard and there will be a minute's silence. But tonight we're going to play you out with the Marchwood Military Wives, who were singing for us a little earlier.
So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as years saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know where.
Really nice. It's so nice to see it unveiled live as well. Really good.
Perfect timing. How do we make that happen?
How do we do it? It's
Who
just
knows?
Incredible. Almost as if it's planned some nights.
Yeah, but even if it's planned, it doesn't always work,
No, that is
as
true.
we know.
As we've been hearing, Brighton have enjoyed a big upturn in fortunes in recent years, and Oxford United are in a much better position this season than last. Head coach Liam Manning joined the club in March and kept them in League One, and now they're at the top end of the division. The U's are currently in the automatic promotion places, 4 points behind leaders Portsmouth, with a game in hand.
We've gone through such a transition in the summer, 17 players out, 11 in. There's quite a few staff changes as well. We introduced a lot of processes, culture. So when you look at it, I think we're still in the early stages of that. It's by no means achieved.
It is still early in the season, but you've got yourselves in this fantastic position at the moment. Is the aim this season promotion?
I had a feeling you might ask that. For me, it's to finish as high as we can. We spoke about it. It was the first meeting I had with the players the pre-season this year. What's the goal? What's the common goal for us all to work towards? And funnily enough, all of them obviously, spoke around, top 2, top 6, playoffs, promotions, whatever it might be. But it's too long away for me. It's such a marathon League One football that, if you start concentrating on things at the end of the season, you take your eye off the most important thing, which is making sure that we're ready to go Saturday.
And on Saturday, it is Wycombe at home for Oxford United, while Reading host leaders Portsmouth. But what is happening off the pitch is set to grab plenty of attention in Berkshire tomorrow. A protest march is being held by Royals supporters over owner Dai Yong, with the club having faced points deductions, transfer embargoes, and earlier this year was served with a winding up petition by HMRC.
It's taken a long time and a lot of misery for us to get to this point. But we've got to do something because we are hurtling towards League Two, and we're under the very threat of going under completely and not existing anymore. So we're all coming together to fight.
Should say we tried to get in contact with the club for comment, haven't heard anything back as yet. We'll have more on that story tomorrow and be back with a full weekend roundup on Monday.
Brilliant. Mark, for now, thank you very much. Now, everyone is familiar with zebra crossings and pelican crossings, but maybe less so about swan crossings.
Never heard of one. But after 3 cygnets were run over crossing the road in Bishop's Waltham in Hampshire, villagers decided to become lollipop men and ladies to the family of swans. Kerry Swain has been to meet them.
Why did the swan cross the road? I can answer that one. There used to be one lake in Bishop's Waltham until it was divided by the B2177. Now when this family of swans wants to move from the North Pond to the south, they simply walk into the traffic.
2 swans got knocked over and killed all in 1 week. And then a few days later, a third swan was injured, all on this stretch of road by speeding traffic.
They will actually sit in the middle of the road and expecting the traffic to drive around them. But also, over 24 ducks have been squashed by motorists as well.
Volunteers from the village are spending shifts watching the birds and stopping drivers whenever a webbed foot steps off the curb.
We've done a 5-hour shift, and some of the others have done a lot more.
We see them safely across the road. Simple as that, really, because we think they're beautiful and we want to encourage nature and we want to look after them. So we're very happy to do that for them.
And they don't rush. They take their time.
They do.
Very deliberate, very slow. Hurry up.
Villagers say they'll keep vigil by the pond until the cygnets mature and fly away. And if nothing is done to slow the traffic, they'll be back next year. Kerry Swain, ITV News.
I love the fact they don't rush.
I was going to say they can at least get on with it. People waiting. Anyway.
Holly joins us now. Holly, the weather's been a bit tricky, hasn't it?
It has, yes. I feel like this is trick or treat weather at the moment,
definitely
isn't it?
is.
Because you walk outside, the sun shines like it did on Twins. Amelia and Caitlin here, pumpkin picking in Titchfield.
Wow, that's beautiful.
But that lovely rainbow, a sign of what could be just around the corner because the heavens could open. I love this shot from Sam Cox. This is the Cat and Fiddle Farm and Cafe. So yes, a mixture of some sunshine and some heavy showers around for this weekend. And we have got a warning in force, so let's take a look at that. It's valid for parts of the region, not all of it. We will all see some heavy showers at times, but it's particularly this area, Sussex, Surrey, parts of Hampshire, across the Isle of Wight there, that are likely to see the largest totals falling. So the risk of some flooding, some squally winds as well, particularly I think some squally winds coming through on Saturday afternoon. Tricky detail, but that warning is in force throughout the whole of the weekend. So just something to bear in mind.
So in places a bit dodgy and a bit darker in the evenings everywhere.
Yeah, that's right, because of course the clocks go back this weekend. So from 2 a.m. in the morning on Sunday, the clock will of course go back an hour and it will become 1 a.m. So an extra hour in bed for people that don't have young children or work night shifts. Or some lucky people that have some extra time in bed, don't they?
And we hate those people.
We hate them, yes we do. So darker evenings, looking a bit autumnal. Let's take a look at the forecast.
Whatever the weather, it always feels like home. Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
Yes, an unsettled look to things this weekend, I'm afraid. We've got this warning in force for Saturday and Sunday for Surrey, Sussex, stretching across Hampshire, the Isle of Wight and towards Bournemouth as well. So some heavy rain, the potential for some localised flooding and also strong winds. And we've particularly got a feature coming through on Saturday afternoon that could bring some strong and squally gusts. So this is the low pressure responsible. It's churning up the atmosphere, it's sending these showers and some more persistent spells of rain our way. And because it's stuck in place and churning around, it does make the detail a little bit tricky to pin down. Out there this evening, some showers around as we push through tonight. The risk of some thunder, lightning, hail perhaps as well. You could see some mist and fog patches too where we get some breaks in the cloud. Temperatures shouldn't fall away too far for tonight, but from the word go tomorrow, we've got showers around, and again they're going to be heavy in nature, particularly I think quite a number of them into parts of the south coast. Equally, some sunshine coming through at times, but don't be fooled by it because we have got further showers pushing up, and you can see this more active feature then into Saturday afternoon. This is the one that brings the potential for some particularly heavy rain and some squally winds as well. Our high tide times, they are particularly high tides this weekend too. Ventnor there 11:11 and again at 11:25. An unsettled picture as we push into next week as well, and don't forget the clocks go back in the early hours of Sunday.
Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
So it's going to be a weekend of dodging the showers. And in just a moment, the ITV Evening News with Lucrezia Millarini.
Stacey's back with the very late bulletin this evening.
Very late, so I'm going to look weary, I promise you.
She's fine with it. We haven't been talking about it all afternoon. Have a great weekend.
Good night.
Bye-bye.